Hey, what's up guys? John here. How do you decarbonize real estate? It's a great question that every real estate investor and every American should be paying close attention to because it's going to impact every structure in America. This is a very big movement. Ithaca, New York has already committed 100% to full decarbonization. New York City, Local Law 97, it's a major commitment towards decarbonizing real estate. Look at Miami, the same exact thing. Los Angeles, I mean, it's literally every city in America, and a lot of cities all throughout the world are moving in this place. And I think that if you're investing in real estate, or you intend to invest in real estate, or you own property or want to own property, you should pay very, very close attention to this because it is going to have a profound impact. I've been talking about this for quite some time, but just last week I picked up David Rubenstein's book, the CEO of Carlyle. They have $376 billion in assets under management, and he goes into great detail about where he sees assets being repriced based on the environmental impact. I mean, the book is essentially a collection of interviews by hedge fund managers and private equity investors discussing where they see this going. And it's very fascinating to watch where this is going because I think it's going to catch a lot of people off guard. Whether you believe it or don't believe it, or whatever your position is, it's kind of irrelevant because this is happening. 10% of all global wealth is already tied into clean energy as of now, and it's just moving more and more and more into this. So here's what's going on. Please hit the like button, YouTube's going to share this content to educate more people about what's going on. How do you decarbonize real estate? An expert Warren explains. The World Economic Forum's website today. So today, this just came out. So with COP27 underway, the UN's net zero deadline is no longer a distant idea, but a waving checkered flag on the horizon. Simultaneously, the recent pandemic and geopolitical tensions have exacerbated the climate exigency and energy crisis, further reworking the landscape for the welcome paradigm shift, not least from the real estate sector, with the built environment driving close to 40% of global carbon emissions. Green real estate is an unequivocal way to abate the climate crisis and a key priority for future investments. Unsustainable buildings are becoming increasingly undesirable and tough to finance. So you think about this, right? Tough to finance. They're moving in this place. What's going to happen when commercial properties, they need to get refinanced, and they need to refinance their loans, and they need to do it in 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years. They have deadlines on these loans where they need to refinance, and they're going to start moving in this direction where it's going to be very, very challenging to refi. I think it could be a really big problem. Boosting demand for new and retrofitted buildings from large institutional investors, the homeowners. There have been a marked shift of interest towards sustainable real estate and the opportunities it presents to capitalize on future-proof assets, right? Here's what they say. Green leases. Tenants can drive demand. Tenants have a vital part to play in real estate's green transition by focusing on green buildings and signing lease agreements with green buildings exclusively. Like, they're really going to push tenants to only go for green buildings. And they get even more creative. They say tenants can drive the demand and subsequent development for sustainable real estate. Those who are already engaged in existing lease agreements can seize the opportunity to partner with their landlords and discuss ways of reducing the building's energy consumption through new technology and retrofitting. So imagine you're a landlord and your tenant's saying, hey, we need to retrofit this building. We need to do these upgrades to the building. What are you going to say? Are you going to say yes or no? Well, I guess it's going to depend on your cost and your savings, right? It's going to depend on a lot of things. However, what they're suggesting is, in turn, this could offer tenants a unique prospect of a share in the investment and the value-added benefits. So allowing the tenant to take some equity in your building. Is that something you'd be interested in? I don't know. A survey from JLL found that green leases carried an average premium of 6%, proving that green real estate creates additional value for investors. Well, also, brand new properties sell usually for more than older existing properties, right? It's not proving much. From construction new buildings to refitting the old green real estate offers ample opportunities to not only accelerate sustainability, but bolster regeneration and resilience. Look at where this is actually going. Like, when we look at the cities in this country and their targets, their deadlines, it is shocking. So look at this. So these are the cities: Tampa, Atlanta, Washington, D.C., Philly, New York, Boston, Pittsburgh, Columbus, Detroit, right? It's like Kansas City, Denver, Salt Lake, all throughout California, Portland, Seattle, right? But these are the deadlines. So San Diego, they want a 61% reduction cities race to net zero, 61% reduction in the next 8 years. Denver, 65% reduction. San Fran, 61% reduction. Austin, 29%. Salt Lake, 50%. Phoenix, 67%. Boston, 50%. 53% in Seattle, 43%. Dallas, 40, and 40 in Houston and Atlanta, right? But you start to see it. It's going to get harder in 8 years, and it's just going to continue to move in this direction. So I think it's going to be even 2025, just in the next 2.5, 3 years, 40% in Denver, 55% in LA. They want a 55% reduction in Los Angeles in the next 3 years. 30% in New York City, 30% in Minneapolis, and 28% reduction in Philly. So it's substantial. This is no doubt going to have a big impact, and the only way that they're going to be able to push these numbers, I believe, is going to be regulations and building and safety code changes in which people have to do these upgrades. But the question is, how do you do upgrades in an environment where interest rates are through the roof and property values are through the roof, and we're in this affordability crisis where 49% of small business owners can't afford their rent in October, right? It's going to be a very, very challenging hurdle to overcome for many people. At the same time, brown buildings and their notoriously sizable carbon footprints face aggregated devaluations in the real estate sector and are now starting to trade at discounts. To avoid the brown discount, owners of large spaces are encouraged to invest in retrofitting old buildings to transform them into green buildings, with only 2% of existing buildings equipped to support the global net zero goal, and the current state's green refittings and transformations will become imperative to maintain their building's value. So this is going to have a very, very big impact. There's no doubt about it. And the future-proofing assets, JLL, in collaboration with the World Economic Forum, created 10 green building principles to guide owners and investors through this transition and benchmark progress, positioning them to reduce their emissions by 50% by 2030 and to be net zero no later than 2050 by following these simple steps, from determining the carbon footprints of assets to setting green lease targets. Companies and investors can create a personalized roadmap to net zero. We believe it's easier to get to net zero in the built environment than it is for many companies to get to net zero in their core operations. Green buildings are relatively easy to develop. Every new development should be a green development. Additionally, the process of transitioning brown buildings to green buildings presents owners with a unique and prolific opportunity to address energy optimization and explore on and off-site renewables, attracting the growing market of green-conscious investors, and with it the mounting pressure for others to follow suit. In the next 5 years, experts foresee industry leaders across all sectors moving on the journey of decarbonization. Despite the ongoing global disruptions, which are expected to continue, real estate owners, developers, and occupiers should seize the opportunity to rebalance their real estate portfolios. From construction, new buildings, to retrofitting the old, green real estate offers ample opportunities to not only accelerate sustainability, but bolster regeneration and resilience. This is pretty wild. I mean, this is happening right now. Ithaca, New York becomes the first city to begin 100% decarbonization of buildings. As I mentioned, Local Law 97 in New York. This is all happening. This is happening very, very quickly. And I believe that we are going to start to see these changes occur before our very eyes sooner than we expect. Like, if they have to hit these quotas, even you look at right now, buildings account for 60% of overall emissions. And so you look at all the cities. I mean, Chicago, LA, they're saying 41%. If they want to get to a certain timeline by 2030, then transportation is going to be a very, very, very big industry that's going to be disrupted, as we can already see with electric vehicles. The same with industry, traditional industry. Waste is 7%. Buildings are the target. If you can't see, purple is essentially 75 to 80% of this entire diagram, this entire roadmap here, with Chicago, LA, Mexico City, New York, Toronto, Amsterdam, Frankfurt. I mean, this is everywhere. What do you think about this? Where do you see this going? I personally, what I believe is likely going to happen is I believe that there's going to be new codes that certain buildings are going to have to hit to meet to potentially get CO, certificate of occupancies on new developments. We could start to see situations where refinances become very challenging and people start walking away from their properties because the cost to do these upgrades simply is not factored into the 3, 4, 5% cap rate in which they acquired assets on over the last couple of years, right? They bought these assets at huge valuations. Rents are starting to get pulled down, and we're starting to see mortgage rates skyrocket, insurance rates skyrocket, property taxes going up, and now all these upgrades. What do you think about it? Drop below. Let's have a conversation about this. I think it's going to change everything in real estate. I really do. I think there's going to be a massive wealth transfer taking place here in this real estate market. Curious what you think. Drop below, hit the like button, subscribe here, and subscribe to my second channel. If you're interested in real estate investing, learning about investing, building businesses, go to my second channel. It's a really interactive call-in show, so feel free to check that out. LinkedIn, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok up in the banner. If you need help fixing your credit score, we would love to help you at CashNow.Video. CashNow.Video. Call us at 561-430-5900. If you intend to invest in real estate, I think things are going to really hit the fan soon. There's going to be a massive opportunity to invest in real estate. You have to make sure that you're going to make a smart investment. That's going to be the key. Investing in the right deal in the right area with the right strategy. And you're going to need great credit to do it. We'd love to help you achieve that at CashNow.Video. See you guys in the next one.